Welcome to the Crystal Self-Healer Podcast. I'm Carissa Weaver. On this podcast, we blend the magic of crystals with the science of psychology to help you break free from chaos, ditch the overwhelm, and master your emotions so you can have more energy, get more done, and feel better every day. Get ready to unlock your intuition and restore your true power as we cover how you can transform your life using crystals and self-awareness. Are you ready to get started? All right, let's go. I've watched many women from my market days look at the displays of crystals, reading all the properties, and saying they need each and every crystal. They see themselves in each and every suggested property or issue listed on the little cards, so they change the crystal they think they need. The last thing anybody wants when they go shopping for crystals is to feel the overwhelm of not knowing what crystal will best support them. But the overwhelm you feel when you're all over the place, jumping from crystal to crystal, not sure what you truly need, stops you every time. You may find you don't buy the crystal or actually do anything with the ones you have because you're worried you might just look silly or dumb. This episode is going to address that dreaded space. The place where you want to work with your crystals, but you don't, and we'll uncover one tactic you can use to get started with your own rewarding crystal practice. When you're starting a project or a new hobby you've been wanting to start, the precipice can feel daunting. There are so many things to remember, so many ways mistakes can be made, so many places where overwhelm can be your focus, enticing you to give up. Think back for a minute. How many hobbies and projects have you abandoned because it just was all too much to figure out? You may be okay with what you recollect, or maybe you feel a little sheepish that you still have a desire to do this thing, but don't have the first inkling of where to start. Let me first say, it's okay to be where you are, to want to do something but not know how to get started. What I don't want for you is to be stuck here, where you want to move forward in using your crystals, but you don't. I don't know if there's anything worse than the regret that comes from the paths and interests you don't follow. That's what makes this space so challenging. Not only are you trying to navigate the overwhelm, but you're also judging yourself for whether you do or don't use your crystals. And your fears and worries around getting it wrong are happily making it way more confusing than you want it to be. Unfortunately, many people sit in this space of wanting without actually getting to the doing phase. I remember the apprehension I felt in my crystal healing certification when it was time to start being the crystal healer, to perform healing with and for other people. I had never actually done one on my own. Sure, I had read all the books in the curriculum, I had attended all the classes, I had done the homework, but I hadn't actually performed a crystal healing session. That felt like a huge leap, and my brain was happily reminding me of all the places and ways I could make mistakes or get it wrong. This is the spot where you get to decide whether you move forward or not, whether you're going to do one thing that helps you work with your crystals. When it feels too overwhelming, like there are too many things to keep track of, too many things to consider, the one thing you can do that makes a huge difference is constraint. Constraint is the act of focusing your attention on one thing, the one thing you need or want to be doing. You don't start reading a book by jumping around between chapters and pages. You start with the beginning. You start with chapter 1, and when you've finished that, you move on. The same is true here too. You pick up one crystal, and then you pick how you want to work with it, whether that's meditating with it, wearing it, putting it in your pocket, or using it in an application like a crystal grid or a ritual. Constraint provides the path you follow to get where you're trying to go, your desired end result. When my brain was getting all worried and tripped up about performing my first crystal healings, I had to get out of my own way. I had to do the one next thing that was required of me, no matter what stage of the process I was at. It was the constraint of focusing on the next thing I needed to do. In your crystal practice, it would be starting with one thing. Try it, personalize it, master it, and then add something new. This gets you out of overwhelm. It gets you doing the very thing you want. It also gives you information. What worked, what didn't work, and the opportunity to decide what you want to do differently going forward. The entry point is totally up to you. You want to use crystals? Great. You want to try candles? Great. You want to read tarot? Great. Start with one thing. That could be a single crystal, a single intention, a single card. But the constraint counters the overwhelm that stops you dead in your tracks. You're no longer focused on matching your actions on the whole picture of someone who has spent years building their practice, their knowledge, their repertoire. You're focused on the one thing you're doing and whether it led you to the desired end result you started with. Usually, I would offer a crystal you could use that will support you with constraint. But today, I want to leave that up to you. I want you to go to your collection or to the crystal store, and instead of reading the little cards or referring to the books, pick the crystal that seems the most fun, the most aligned, the most appropriate, or just because. Then move to the next thing, deciding how you want to work with it. When the overwhelm rears up, and it will, bring your focus back to the one thing, that next step you're taking, and remind yourself that you've got this. It's all under control. Getting into the doing phase of your crystal practice can be the hardest step when you're stuck in overwhelm. That's why I created the Crystal Self-Healer Members Portal to focus on doing over more learning. The portal is about getting from the I've read about to the I do space of your practice. The integration and embodiment of everything you've been trying to master comes from the doing. And you can get that when you join me inside the Crystal Self-Healer Members Portal. Depending on where you are, there are 3 levels of support that help you go from I don't know to I know. Whether you start by simply receiving a crystal healing or you're ready for the deep work in mentorship calls, the goal is the same, shifting you from studying to doing. Each month, we move through the lunar cycle, setting intentions at the new moon using crystals aligned to the astrological energy. We perform ritual to build momentum at the first quarter. We heal and release what no longer serves at the full moon, and nurture and tend to ourselves in the fourth quarter. It's not about learning more. It's about doing consistently in a way that becomes second nature. Take that first step in beginning your practice by going to my website, 3charmedgems.com, and come home to yourself through practice. Today's episode has been brought to you by all the crystals and Constraint. May we all keep our focus on the one thing we need to be doing so we can move forward in our crystal practice. Blessed be, my friends. All right, my friends, that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you for joining me here today on the Crystal Self-Healer podcast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review, and take the What Crystal is Best for You quiz linked in the show notes. Join me again next week as we continue to demystify crystals, how your brain works, and how you can use them so you can have more energy, get more done, and feel better every day.